Hi everyone, my name is Kendall Hall, and I'm going to be talking about the writing process for students that are adjusting to community environments with emotional, social, and behavioral disabilities. The purpose of this presentation is to become more familiar with best practice writing strategies that I could incorporate in my own classroom. In special education, it is true that students with learning disabilities often struggle to clearly express ideas in writing. Students in special education often skip the planning process when it comes to writing and just want to complete the work in front of them. Students in special education sometimes have failure to recognize the steps that are involved in writing, the planning, the organizing, and the revising stages. This presentation will focus on how to incorporate best practice strategies within special education classrooms that promote writing for success within the classroom. Strategies. The first strategy that I'm going to talk about is writing to learn. According to the WACClearinghouse.com, writing to learn activities are short, impromptu, or otherwise informal writing tasks that help students think through key concepts or ideas presented in a course. Often, these writing tasks are limited to less than 5 minutes of class time. Using brief time limits in the classroom will free up time for the teacher to reteach any information that the students did not understand. Writing to learn has many different strategies that can be used in the classroom, from compare and contrast to free write about any subject. How can I connect this to my classroom? While teaching different subject areas, it would be a good refresher for students to take a few minutes at the beginning or the end of class to do a free write to show their thinking or of what they have learned through the lesson. Using writing to learn strategies in my classroom. In my classroom, I would ask students to, in social studies, compare and contrast two different historical figures, cause and effect of the world wars, or something in career planning. I would have them free write about a career planning goal, and I would have them keep a journal about life goals and accomplishments that they feel proud of. The next strategy that I'm going to be talking about is goal setting. Oftentimes in special education, students have a difficult time completing tasks that they are not too interested in. By setting specific goals for the writing assignments that students are able to complete will boost the students' confidence in writing. Goals can be established by a teacher or created by the student, with review from the teacher to ensure that they are appropriate and attainable. Author Burns 2013 from Johns Hopkins University states that goals can include, but are not limited to, adding more ideas to a paper or including specific elements of a writing genre. Example, in an opinion essay, include at least 3 reasons supporting your belief. Burns also states that setting specific product goals can foster motivation, and teachers can continue to motivate students by providing reinforcement when they reach their goals. Not only can you set reasonable goals for your students, you can also set goals for yourself in making sure that you are taking the time to sit down with each student in the class to make sure that they are reaching their goal in their writing. And if they are not, you can both go back and revise the goal for the student. How can I use goal setting in my classroom? In my classroom, my students work very well with positive praise. Students like to feel good about themselves. What better way than achieving a goal? We all know that writing can be difficult, so when a student completes a writing task and achieves their goal, they should be very proud of themselves. Goal setting can take place in the classroom for every subject area, whether it is history with stating 4 examples in an essay to economics for completing an independent writing project in the classroom. The next strategy that I'm going to talk about is the self-regulated strategy development, the SRSD. The SRSD technique involves self-directed prompts that require students to consider their audience and reasons for writing, develop a plan for what they intended to say using frames to generate or organize writing notes, Evaluate possible content by considering its impact on the reader, and continue the process of content generation and planning during the act of writing. So there's 6 stages of SRSD. The first one I'm going to go more in depth in is develop background knowledge. When developing background knowledge, the teacher will need to establish skills the students would need to know prior to learning the strategy. So example, definitions or identifying certain things that the students may not know. The second stage, initial conference. So we want to set clear goals with our students. Together go through a rubric or grading guide which the writing will be graded. You want to have clear expectations from the teacher to the students so that they will know what they are expecting when they're getting their grade. We want the student to think about who will read this and why am I writing this. We also want the student to plan what you are going to say. And finally, we want the student to write and say more. Now we are on stage number 3, modeling the strategy. The teacher will pose think aloud questions. The teacher will ask constant questions aloud to model what the student should be doing while they are writing. Stage number 4, memorization of the strategy. Have students make a visual to keep on their desk. Students can write the strategy down or they can recite it to the teacher. Strategy number 5, collaboration practice. Have the responsibilities switch from the teacher to the students. Make sure that they are meeting their goals. And if they're not, you can go back and revise their goals with the student. And finally, stage number 6, independent practice. Having students complete the writing independently. Provide the visuals that the students have made in step 4. We also want to give the students positive praise and feedback in this strategy. By using this strategy in my classroom, I will be able to offer more support and feedback in the writing process for my students. There are many graphic organizers that would work for this strategy. Students would be able to have clear, explicit directions for their writing. When teaching history, my students already know that they are expected to write 2 essays a quarter for the New York State region, so thematic and a DBQ. So by using this strategy, they will now be able to use graphic organizers the correct way and find ways that will work for them. So right now they're using graphic organizers just to have and put their name on just to say that they did it. They're not actually using the graphic organizers the correct way. I would use the SRSD for planning essays in my classroom. This would teach the students how to correctly use graphic organizers and become more efficient writers when it comes to taking standardized testing. In conclusion, 4 out of 5 students are not proficient writers. So how can we close the achievement gap and make writing fun again? Could we use technology? How could we engage our students? And could we do more hands-on learning? I thought that the SRSD strategy was informational and it would be greatly used in my classroom. I like that there are 6 steps and are slowly easing students into independent writing with the confidence to complete it on their own. And here are my resources. Thank you.